The Queen Sofia Spanish Institute of New York hosted the celebratory exhibit of Spanish master Cristobal Balenciaga. The Basque designer founded the Parisian couture house, which bears his name. Oscar de la Renta, who began his career sketching for Balenciaga, conceived of the project. Curator Hamish Bowles illuminates the relationship between the designer and his homeland.
Balenciaga fled to Paris, in fact, during the Spanish Civil War in 1937. But he'd had a fashion house for 20 years and had been working since he left school at 13. By the time he got to Paris, he was really a fully-fledged designer. You know, he knew how to, as Chanel said, you know, he was the only couturier, the others were just draftsmen. At the beginning of his career in Paris, the clothes are very, very saturated with Spanish influences, and they're very overt. There's this sort of nostalgia for his homeland, and he's sort of channeling it through his work. During the course of the research, we kind of identified 6 very specific themes that I felt really fed into his work. Balenciaga actually hated bullfights himself, but he loved the drama and the dress of the bullfight. And here we go, this is Carmen Amaya, a sort of legendary flamenco dancer and singer. And so we have a whole section that kind of relates to specifically Andalusian flamenco and Gitano dress. We decided thematically to have one of the galleries reflect the kind of austere majesty of Spain and its artistic and royal history, and also the tremendous impact of church dress and vestments on his work. I was surprised to discover how kind of profoundly religious he was, and the sort of influence of you know, I mean, there's a 1939 evening coat that really looks like a priest's cassock, you know, and a 1954 coat that really looks like a sort of cardinal's robe.
One highlight of the exhibition is Balenciaga's 1939 Infanta gown.
When we examined it, we saw that the bodice is lined in a toile, in its original toile, which was annotated in pencil by Balenciaga himself, so one could speculate that he might even have made it. Balenciaga would have spoken to his assistant, Ramon, or Vladzio, and told them what he had in mind, and they'd do this kind of lightning sketch with the fabric. And then after the fittings, when the dress was finished, they'd do a finished sketch, and then the garment will be photographed in this very kind of documentary fashion, front, back, and often sides as well, which was to kind of, in a way, protect the copyright of the design. I hope that people will come away with this sense, and designers will come away with the sense that here was a designer who was constantly refining and developing, and you know, I think some of the most extraordinary pieces we have in the show are from 1967, and which was the year before he retired. He was 72. It's wonderful just to see how he never rests on his laurels. You know, every collection is a development and it's a progression, and sometimes a really radical progression. And I think that's what's so interesting, is that he explores the same themes, but always in a very adventurous and forward-thinking way.